Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Ladies of Sosa podcast. My name is Sahra.
And my name is Christine. I love how you're sticking to the Sahra.
Yes, I'm very serious.
Yeah.
The Sarah
I believe you.
was like, I'm like, that's not my name.
Right. I love it.
Yes, thank you. But today is a special episode dedicated. Well, it's not a special episode. Can I start
I'm
that
about
over?
to say
every episode cannot be special. Not every episode.
Not every episode is special, okay?
So, today we are dedicating this episode to how to navigate turning 30, not being married, not having kids, maybe not even in a relationship, and just trying to figure out what life looks like for you, or like societal pressures, family pressures. That's all the stuff we're getting into today. And we were inspired by Christine's birthday and Janet's birthday in Costa Rica. But before we get into all of that, we're going to go ahead and introduce our panel. So we'll start with Janet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Janet IYKYK. You can find me on socials under Janet IYKYK on IG, TikTok, and YouTube.
Hi, everyone. It's Vaida again.
And then we have Ebony, and Ebony's been on the episode before, but go ahead and reintroduce yourself.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be back. My name's Ebony. You can find me at Ebony Sierra X on TikTok and Instagram, or the Keto Queen on Instagram.
I know that's
Yay.
right. Yes.
And can we say Eb is back from Spain, and she
Yes.
looks amazing.
Glowing, literally glowing.
Yes.
Spain was
Yes.
just so good on you, sis.
Yes, traveling, you love to travel.
Yeah.
You just need to keep doing it because you always look happy when you do it.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
But let's get into the topic and how we kind of were inspired by it, because we did go to Costa Rica.
Mhm.
I want you to talk about it because that was y'all's birthday trip.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we just had our birthday trip. Me and Ebony actually have the same birthday. So she was in Spain on our actual birthday. So before that, I feel like that trip that we took to Costa Rica was really like just like a women empowerment trip. Like I feel like we had a lot of deep conversations just about life evolving, like what we want for this next chapter of our lives, and just basically the societal pressures that we feel, especially with certain narratives that are being pushed on social media regarding women aging, and how there's this narrative that like women are hit a wall at a certain age, or if you hit a certain age and you don't have, like, let's say a husband or kids or a relationship, kind of how you are the leftovers, basically. So that's basically what we've been talking about, and just going over like what is it that you want for your life, like what are you manifesting, what are you praying for, and just all things that come with getting older, living in society that's completely different from what our parents grew up in, and just trying to navigate it for the first time. So
Yes.
Yeah. It was great.
Yeah. And no,
No, everything that you said plus some, it was
Yeah.
great, and it was what we set an intention out to do. We didn't just want it to be another vacation. We wanted to have fun, of course, but we wanted to make sure that we were very intentional about the activities, and then also implementing rest, relaxation, and then bonding time as well, to get to know each other better, and to, like Christine said, have those deep conversations. So
right.
it did feel like a girls' trip.
Right.
very
Nobody
much girls.
argued, so
I
it wasn't like a
know.
Like Miami,
like,
what was it? It was
back and hate each
talk about
other.
yeah.
Yeah, we gotta talk
how
about that
when
later.
girls go to Miami and then they come back. And
Yeah.
I
they're
think
friends
we're the
anymore.
best travel group because we have
Oh.
never
Yeah,
had any-
any
Yeah.
type of, like, we don't do stuff like that.
we don't need to.
Mm-mm. It was
Because
good
what?
vibes.
Because if my girl don't have money for dinner that night, it's not gonna be an argument. We'll just
Right,
pay for
exactly.
it. It's
We're
okay.
not petty. I think
Like
that's
it's like
what it
that's so
is.
ridiculous. Like the Miami argument is like was like ridiculous. Like I don't know how y'all feel about that.
I feel like those people are not really
They're not really
friends.
friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you be offended if you're okay? So like the argument with the Miami trip stigma is like a group of girls that went to Miami. And I think it was like one of the girls came and they didn't have money for the trip,
Right.
and so people had to like pitch in and help her out, and it became like, you know, it just kind of like blew up, and then they fell out when they, you know, so it was just like it ended up being a bad
Honestly,
girls trip.
I feel like my friends wouldn't do that in the first
Yeah,
place. I feel like the type of
that's-
people that we are, we're not on that type of time. Like, if you know you ain't got no money, I'm on some like, listen, I'm not gonna be able to come. I love you guys.
Yeah.
I will send you a gift.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's irresponsible to go on. I feel like my friend.
Yeah, I think it's an age thing for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Like the people that are going to Miami, because it's not even just at one time. It's been like a constant, like,
Yeah, it's a thing.
If the girls go to Miami, then they're not gonna leave Miami, stay with friends. And I think like Miami for me, like I went as a college student, you know. So when you're in school, you don't really have the funds to be really balling. So you kind of on a budget. So like you want to be a part of an experience, you know, with your friends, but at the same time, there's gonna be chances that not everyone is able to experience that to the fullest. So I think it's really an age thing, and where y'all are in life, it wouldn't be. You're making better decisions, I would say.
I can't even like even think about y'all texting me and say, "Hey, let's go to Miami." Like,
at this point.
No shade, but
that is funny. That is funny. So what are you saying? Like you're more so like Italy.
And, you know, I have nothing against Miami. I spent a lot of time in Miami, and there's a lot of really nice, luxurious things to do in Miami.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna go on a girls trip, we're gonna go on a girls trip.
Right.
Yes.
It's giving passport stamps.
Yeah.
But
especially now.
if I had a friend like, I mean, okay, I think it's just more so about communication. So if my friend communicated in the group chat, like, you know what, I'm going through a lot right now, so I don't think I could come because X, Y, and Z, I wouldn't mind helping to pay so that they can experience like something with the girls. You know?
You say that,
but
before,
there's a difference.
And you get there.
And I think there's a difference because when you do travel, there are a lot of expenses that come, excursions. You know, we're going out, things like that. But I feel like everyone should understand where they are, and it's important that you have accountability within yourself to say, okay, I could probably do this excursion, but I probably can't go out and do this. You know what I mean? Like,
don't cart.
Right, exactly. If you feel like you're in that position and you do take a trip, just be honest with yourself and don't feel like people have to come in and support you financially if you're unable to when we're in a whole nother country. Right.
And we're the type of friends too, like we're gonna have you. So I feel like it's also unfair to put someone in that situation too. Where like if I tell Janet, I know she's gonna have my back, but that's also not fair to Janet because Janet didn't budget for that ahead of time. Now if you said it before, like we said, and like hit up Janet directly, like Janet, I don't have the funds, but I still wanna, you know, support you. And she's like, no, come, I got you. That's a different story.
That's a whole different.
That's different. You know,
I agree with that.
Because then it's like, no one else needs to know. We just me and her have an understanding. You know,
because if you put it in the group
real
chat ahead of time, like real friendship, like friends. Communication. It's like real friends communicate, like
but don't spring it on me.
We hear it. You like do that.
And then you order the whole, like you order it, you live in life. And I think that's probably what's pissing people off. Like you probably out here living life.
That's
enjoying dinner.
And now Janet has to cut back because Janet's budget is being affected.
Now I can't do what I wanted to do because
because I'm paying for you too.
We gotta figure stuff out. So I think it's just being a good friend to your friends and also having good people around you if that situation does happen. But
a lot of women don't have. I've noticed that online. Like a lot of women don't have like female friends, especially like our age group. I've noticed that's been a thing, and to me, like, I just feel that's just really sad because I feel like women, we are very like, even if we don't get married and have kids and all that, I feel like women have created communities around each other to where we'll be good no matter what. Like your friends will be there on your birthday. If you're sick, your friends will be at the hospital. Like if you go through life things, like your friends will be there in a sense to where, like, let's say you don't have a traditional family. I think women kind of invest in relationships a little bit more.
I agree with that.
So I don't know. Thank you guys.
I know. It's like we can't even. There's no even disagreement because we're actually real friends.
Right?
You're right.
Because sometimes you take it for granted, and when you see people like really venting about how like they don't have any friends and like none, like not even one, like that's kind of sad.
That's a red flag.
That's it.
I don't.
That's a controversial take. Why is it a red flag?
I don't trust girls who say that they don't have female friends.
I don't either.
Like because
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, because that's just like I don't know. Like how can you? So you can have male friends, but you can't maintain female friendships. Like it's giving pick me a little bit. Like,
okay.
Or if there's always a reason why. Like like a lot of friendships don't work out with girls. That's when it's really a side eye because
you know what's a red flag? Because I've met girls who try to make you their best friend the first week, and it's like whoa, like and they usually don't have friends like that, and it's usually them. So I could see that perspective. They attach on quick, but you got to let them go quick because it's like they're usually the reason
of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, we do have an example of that, and that's the thing. I mean, I feel like you have to have you have to have healthy examples of female friendships to me to feel comfortable. If you're a person that says like, oh, you don't have female friends, or you like men better, or like, you know, just that narrative. That's kind of uncomfortable because why? Because there's a certain, like, you know how they say girl code, like there is a certain like loyalty. There's things that I would never do to you guys, you know, as my girlfriends. And if
girls don't get girl code.
They don't understand that, or they're upset, or they don't like girls because they have to have a certain loyalty to them, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, why can't you maintain a female friendship? That's not a good, like, I
agree then. That is a red flag. If you just have no friends, it's like your whole life nobody has saw you worthy, like, hey, I want to be
your friend.
You're like your whole life, like we've been living a while now.
I would rather you say you don't have no friends than to say I don't have any girlfriends.
Right.
Like if you're just like, I only have guy friends,
Question. Do you ladies think that guys and girls can be friends?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
I think so.
You think so?
You don't think so, Christine?
To an extent.
I'm asking y'all.
I think to an extent, because I think, you know, there's always attraction between opposite sexes. So I feel like in any guy and girl friendship, if you know, have the right moment, like anybody will do anything.
Yeah. That is true.
I think anybody will cross the line if it comes to the right moment. Like, what? Yes.
I didn't believe in guy friends until I met Emmanuel. Emmanuel Comedy.
So Emmanuel's your first guy friend.
Yes. Okay. Emmanuel's actually my first
Congratulations
guy friend.
to Emmanuel.
Like, you know, just straight up guy friend.
Damn.
Yes. Because you know how
you weren't expecting that. I don't think you was.
Emmanuel's he's laughing in the studio.
Because you know how sometimes, like, you have a guy friend, but like you said, the line can be crossed at any point.
And it will.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
boundaries.
Yes. But
Boundaries.
I feel like Emmanuel's like a friend that I'm like, I realize I can call Emmanuel and be like, Emmanuel, what are you doing right now? Let's go. Let's all hang out. Let's have fun. Let's do this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, this is not like no strings attached or anything. We're like, that's actually my friend, like my homeboy.
Well, how do you think Emmanuel feels about that?
Ooh.
We're actually friends.
Emmanuel said we're actually friends. I don't know if the mic
That's
picked
my
that
road
up.
dog. Like, I ask her for advice on relationships.
On girls.
Yeah,
He does.
on relationship situations. And
Yes.
like,
And I was like, Emmanuel, why are you acting like that with that girl? Like, why are you doing that? Like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, so, and that's the first friend I realized. And I just realized, I'm like, oh my gosh, I never had a friend.
Why
like
is he the first though? Like, outside of, I'm sure you've been around guys that are not like, you know, someone that's interested in you or dating. Like,
honestly, I think it's no. I think it's Emmanuel's energy. Like, Emmanuel, like, he's upfront with how he feels. Like, if he wants to talk to you, that's how he's gonna approach you. If he's like, I like you, you're cool, that's how he is too. You know how we met him, like how we all interact with him, like we feel like he's like that like our little brother or older brother or whatever. You know, it's just like. But I think that's just like how the approach is, because a lot of guys sometimes, I think with a lot of girls, guys start off trying to talk to you and then you make them your friend.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that's so true.
Yeah.
Then so that line can always be crossed, because like I started off attracted to you, you know. So yeah, I think
unless you keep them in that box. Oh, and I think that's where when she talks about the extent, I feel like, especially if we paint the picture, you're beautiful, you're successful, you're smart, all these great things, right? A man is going to be attracted to you because we know what men are attracted to, and some of their standards are very low. So if you no shade, but it's like, so if you're this total package, guys are going to be attracted to you. But I think it's up to you to decide, is this a guy that you want to pursue? Yeah. Or if you like being around him, you guys hang out, you know, things like that, then you keep him in that friend zone or that friend box. Yeah. And if he gets out of it, it's because some boundary was crossed, or you kind of let him come over a little bit too much.
And that's my problem.
Right. So it's like, no, you gonna always be my friend until I probably see something different or I want to pursue that. but it's never gonna give. You're gonna come over here on your own.
My cousin, I have a family member. She has a lot of male friends, and she's always had a lot of, you know, female friends and male friends. And I remember once she said to me, she's just like, I know if I give an inch, they take a mile. So like the woman is always the one that's kind of keeping like the boundary, because sometimes men don't really have boundaries, or they don't really maintain boundaries. It's really anything can go. So as a woman, you have to be able to be like, I'm gonna respect this line.
And I respect men too, because I mean, to keep throwing the bait and being like rejected or not catching the fish. No, I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm really not, because I'm not trying to get dragged. But what I'm saying is that it takes a lot of persistence, right, for a man to continue to want to pursue someone that is clearly not interested in them. But I think that when it comes to women and men being friends, I think it could happen. But I feel like women need to be aware that the men will be attracted to you. Now, are you okay? Do you feel like you have enough boundaries to put in place in order to still maintain that friendship? Or do you rather not be friends with men because you think that boundary can be crossed?
I think my question is like, how long does it last? Because I'm single. If they're single, like, I feel like whenever that friend gets in a relationship or you get in a relationship, the dynamics of that friendship have to change.
That's a good point.
Sustainable.
For sure. Yeah.
I feel like it's different if you guys might have dated before, you guys had a romantic spark. I feel like, I know me, I could press reset, but I feel like for men, they can't press reset. You know, so I feel like it couldn't start from scratch and be like a platonic, healthy relationship. Yeah. But I feel like if there was never any of that stuff going on, I feel like I could move on and like continue to have that person as a friend. And even, let's say my partner becomes friends with them too. Like that, I think that would be nice, you know, because your lives are kind of connecting at that point. But
yeah, I agree. But I think it gets really, really messy. Muddy. Muddy. Yeah, that's a better term to use. But yeah, it gets really muddy when there's no clear definition on each side of what the friendship is. So,
and I like that point you made about like if someone gets into a relationship, because I had an experience where someone I was dating had a female friend that they were friends with before, that they're like, oh, this is my sister, da 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 da. But come to find out, when they really got into the story, this was someone that they tried to talk to that denied them. And then it's like, okay, then they settle into the friend zone and they just have a really good friendship to where they're friends. Because the girl is keeping that boundary of, you know, so now that like, I'm in the picture, I'm not comfortable with that. I don't care if that's not your sister, because that's someone that you tried to talk to. I don't care if it was 10 years ago. You still try to talk to her, and she denied you. So now you guys have built a friendship.
Exactly. Because
so
going back, men
that's not okay.
Set boundaries.
Exactly. So I feel like that just kind of like, I don't know, makes it a little. So I'm the type of girlfriend, we ain't having no friends. Like your friends are my friends. Like, okay, I'm not gonna say like we're not having any friends. Like it's just strict. There's boundaries. There's not like the best friend that they're always together. They're always hanging out there. No, like you can have friends that's cool.
Your best friend.
I have friends, but I'm not hanging out with my guy friends. I'm not talking to them on the phone every day. I'm not like, we're cool, but there's a certain level of like distance to where like I can bring you around and be like, hey, this is my person. And there's no awkward tension, because I've had that happen too. Like a friend zoned guy that I really felt like was my friend that started giving weird energy to someone that I was dating, because in their heart they were holding out hope for one day.
Or like when you get into a new relationship and then it may be like public, and now like guys that you thought were your friends are like,
they start acting funny towards you.
Now I always wanted to be with you. Like, wait, what? Like, what?
The
like,
confession was
coming out.
Because I think women really can be friends with men. I honestly think so. Now, can men be friends with women?
Exactly.
I think because we see them as people. I don't think men fully see women as people.
Whoa.
I don't think so. I feel like men overtly sexualize, you know, the people that they're, you know, women. You know what I mean? But women, even if I saw you romantically in one light one day, if the next day that switches off, I can still care for you as a person and wish you the absolute best outside of me. And I don't like, you know, but I feel like women are sexualized to the point where like we're dehumanized. So like if we don't add value to someone's life, we're kind of discarded. You know, like so. A lot of
times it's sexual.
Unfortunately,
in nature for women. Unfortunately.
And another that's such a good point, because I feel like a guy will be your friend and you would think that they're your friend for years. And like, let's say they'll just wait for that perfect opportunity, and usually that's when you're vulnerable. Let's say you go through a hard breakup And like that moment of them consoling you, like you said, they can't just see you as like a human being of like, let me just be here for this person who's sad. They're like, oh, she's vulnerable. This is my moment. Let me swoop in and try to
but then
make a move.
That's when you keep the key
yes.
tightens. You know what I mean? Like that's why I say I feel like if you are going to have a friendship with a guy, you like your boundaries, girl, gotta be like padlocked because every moment, because you don't want to feel like you can't share certain things, right, with your friend. But then at the same time, you got to also think from the mind of somebody who is always going to try to make his attempt.
But would you tell your guy friend that you're like something about your relationship, like your relationship is on the rocks? Is that something?
I don't think you should. I don't think you should.
That's why I said like it's certain boundaries that you have to where you guys can hang. You could, life update. Y'all can talk about whatever,
if they
general
can't
things,
hang out with you and who you're dating and it be okay, then there's something's wrong there. And vice versa. For like, if you can't be with your guy's female friend and y'all all and there's no weird energy or tension, then something's wrong.
I agree.
All right, well
that was
a nice little icebreaker.
I know.
Oh, and Sarah, you have an Ask LOS advice.
Oh my gosh, yes
us.
we do. Okay, we got to make this quick because we still got to get it into the comments. Okay, so someone asked us, this segment is going to be called LOS Advice, where we ask our panel whatever you guys asked us and get their perspective. So she said, I would love for y'all to discuss the dynamics of FOBs, which is FOB, fresh off the boat, like a newcomer to America, dating domestic South Sudanese. Despite being born overseas, Lebanon, something that's hard for me is telling those I'm interested in who just got here, who came for just school and stayed working professionally, about what relationship dynamics look like for me. There's a difference in understanding despite how much of a traditional woman I believe myself to be.
I'll put it for us as Americans, like us who grew up here. So we're very Americanized. We're very like, I guess submerged in the culture, American culture. Like, let's say someone comes like recently, like last 2-3 years from Africa and then or South Sudan, and they're trying to date you. There's certain things that they're not going to understand. Like that other side of you, like, of course you guys are both South Sudanese, but you have you're also like, you have that American, they might not understand like certain cultural things or the music or like, the slang or things like that. So like, how is it to date someone who just came from Africa?
And then how to kind of get your people to understand like why you're dating them.
Right.
I think that's what she's asking. Like, how does she like work this out and tell her friends and like convince them?
Like that relatability, I feel. It's not going to be there.
So I guess to make it more relatable to ourselves, would you guys date someone fresh off the boat?
Yes, I have. You guys witnessed the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to leave it at that.
Yes.
You guys know who I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
For my birthday.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
No, like, I didn't care that this person just came to America. They just came, like, I don't know, maybe like a week before.
What?
I didn't care about that. Like, we just had an instant connection. Obviously, it didn't work out because we had cultural differences. That's why it ultimately didn't work out. But
so then it wouldn't work. Right.
I don't know.
No, was it the cultural differences or was it something else? Because I feel like that's what she's saying. Like, there's cultural, even though we're like all black, like you're both black, but there's
all South Sudanese.
Yeah, or all South Sudanese. There's like some differences there.
With us, it was definitely a huge cultural difference that it just wouldn't be accepted for us to continue.
Yeah. So maybe that does say maybe it might not work. How do you feel? But would you date someone that's like?
I feel like it wouldn't be like a big. It would be big, but I don't think that in itself would be a determining factor. I think because I feel like I'm a pretty open-minded person. If they were also open-minded, I want to give people that are fresh off the boat. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, like, and not paint them all like the same. Like, oh, I'm traditional and I believe X, Y, Z. Maybe they'll have some things that they share with me in common with me. So I wouldn't 100% just negate it off the bat, because I feel like it's also a good opportunity to learn about your partner, you know, to learn about the person you're dating and like what they value and them culturally, and then they'll learn about me. And if it's not compatible, it's not compatible. But I don't think that in itself is something that I would discredit.
Just because they're
yeah.
So it's a little more work. I feel like you have to make the work to bridge that gap.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's not impossible. It's just because you probably don't understand certain things about back home.
Yeah,
you know,
because she said that she sees herself as traditional, but obviously not as traditional as him because he's coming from
straight
Africa.
from the motherland.
Yeah. So
yeah, it definitely depends on the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too.
That was good. So let's get into the meat and potatoes.
Real quick. Because off of that, one of my uncles actually told me one time, he was like, why don't y'all girls, like South Sudanese girls who are not married yet, why don't you guys do what the men do and go pay cows for a man and bring them here? Whoa.
Into that.
Uncle, why would you even?
He literally said that. He was like, you would get married. They have the men that you would get. Some of them have money. They just need the citizenship. So he literally said that. He was like, if you don't have a man, why don't you just go back home and I don't think he said pay cows. But like pay cows is crazy. I just related it to South Sudanese women. Yeah. He didn't say pay cows, but he said just go get them, like pay for the citizenship. Like that show, what's that show called?
90 Day
Fiancé.
Oh wow!
And then you have a man that has money.
You see how that works out on
educated,
the show.
Right? He was like, but you have an educated man, has money, blah blah blah, and you're just paying for his citizenship to come here. And then now you have an alpha man.
That feels transactional though. I don't like.
I'd rather be alone.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I
agree.
No. He said that. Yeah, I was shocked.
That is so masculine.
But the way that he put it, I was actually kind of like, wow. I'm not gonna lie. The way that he like framed it, he was like, no, the guy is gonna have money. He's gonna take care of you. He's gonna provide. But you're just in a way like You're just saying yes, I want to marry him, and then you're bringing him here.
Yeah.
So you're importing him.
I think he's paying for him to come here, but you're just marrying him.
I think the intention of that is that there aren't options here.
Yes.
Which I feel like there are options for us. If we wanted to get married today, we can have
this
viable.
This conversation is crazy because when I was just in Spain with my friends, we had a conversation about like, do we need to import our men to the U.S.?
Passport girls, passport
gals. Okay, so you're saying there's no options. Well, if you wanted to drop everything and say, I'm gonna get married today. I got somebody in the chamber.
I'm ready.
I mean, I just don't know. I mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the way he put it, I was just like, wow, that might be an option for some girls, because some girls want a provider and like a person who's educated and blah blah blah, and then he might not be here, but he's somewhere else.
You know what, Sarah? They do be in the DMs all the time. You know, people from back home in Africa, but you just don't pay attention to.
Hey,
hi, hello,
hi. How are you?
Hello,
beautiful.
Hello, sis.
Hello. Wow. Thank you. Like, thank you for what?
I hate you so much for that. Why is that so accurate?
No, but like that's what I'm saying.
So you're saying don't ignore the brothers back home.
You never know.
We're trying to get your attention.
Uncle, shout out to Uncle, because he put that so well. I mean, I wouldn't do it because I don't know, the pride maybe, but maybe if I bring my pride down, maybe if I bring my pride down. You know, I mean,
it's us. Maybe it's us. Maybe you're not exploring all of the options available to you.
Yeah. So, ladies, would you guys do that? Would you guys, think about taking a man like outside of America? Maybe like if you're South Sudanese, a South Sudanese man back home who's well established, has his stuff together, educated, but maybe he wants to come to America, but he needs that connection,
right?
So with a woman here, and he will take care of you once he comes here.
You know what's so funny? It's gonna be so interesting seeing the tables reverse. You know how like when men do that and they bring like their wives and then the wives get Americanized and then they leave.
Yeah.
So it's like, what about that with the reverse? He comes, he gets established and Americanized, and then he leaves.
He already established.
Listen,
he goes and gets another wife and brings the wife.
Just tread lightly. You didn't hear from us, okay?
We need to think about all possible scenarios here.
Right, we're not.
And now you're polygamous, so you didn't even want to have it.
Right. You're right. I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's something. Uncle said it's something to think about.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
Planted the seed.
Yeah, just a little seed.
You know, so anyways,
that is hilarious. Okay, good. That was good. Revolutionary, actually.
Yeah. I was like, wow, Uncle, you're actually very progressive, right?
Thinking outside the box.
Right.
Listen, he's coming with solutions, honey. He said there is a problem. Y'all not getting married, and I'm presenting solutions.
I love a solution-oriented man.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to help out the next generation.
Mm-hmm. That might be the move. But anyways, moving on to the real, actual topic that
That's a great segue into it. It's like, okay, why are we not getting married? And there's options for us.
Yeah. So how do we start that, Christine? Is it
I don't know.
Do you guys let's talk about it how we talked about it in Costa Rica.
I think it's not even about marriage. I feel like there's a lot being forced on women that we might not necessarily feel the same way about ourselves. Like this whole narrative, once you get to a certain age, you're no longer valuable, or you lose your market value, or, I feel like women genuinely don't feel that way about ourselves. We don't feel like our value can be given or taken away from us, especially not by age, because how can you demonize someone for something that's natural? Like, we're all going to get older. It's a blessing to get older.
Right. Absolutely.
I think that we're living in a whole different time. Like, everything's different. The economy's different. People are getting having children older, getting married older. Like, it's harder to buy a house. It's harder to get established, to even take care of yourself, let alone start a whole family.
Right.
You see the argument on social media every day about going 50-50 because it's hard. It's harder now than ever for one person to provide for a household.
Yes.
So I think that there's so many different factors that go into settling down for us, and it's not, we're educated now, we're going to school, we're making money, so there's just so many different things, and I feel like for every woman it's an individual struggle thing,
Yeah.
It's not all women are on the same page. It's different.
I feel like we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't, because like you said, the economy with inflation, everything's so expensive, the cost of living keeps increasing. So it's realistically you do want a partner that can contribute to the household financially, but then also you hear that women are being too masculine by working and by providing for themselves and by being financially independent. So it's where is the middle ground with the narratives that's because I think sometimes I don't listen to none of these narratives because
do you feel the pressure though at all? Because I personally do feel the pressure. I feel like as an African woman, as a first generation African, my parents are here. I feel like within our community, there, even if it's not your parents directly, because it's not my parents directly, you will have aunties, uncles, different people in the community asking when are you gonna get married, when are you gonna have kids, okay, you're getting older, you're this age, what's going on? So there's pressure there, whether you feel it personally on yourself or not. People will put that pressure onto you, and I think that's my thing.
I want y'all to answer that, but I don't feel the pressure directly from anyone. I feel subliminal pressures. I remember scrolling somewhere and it was just I'm 30 with about to turn 30 with no kids and not married or something. I'm just okay. It was the problem,
It makes you think about yourself.
So I'm okay, so is there something wrong with that? But I've never had that pressure with my mom has never said anything to me about it. But our culture, once they always talk about marriage. And
right.
It's normal to me. It's normalized when we talk about marriage and kids. But she never pressured me as getting
Do you
older.
Want that for yourself? Because some women don't even want to. That's another movement online too. They don't want to have kids.
Oh yes, I want to have kids. I want to get married. One of my cousins or someone that I knew growing up came up to me one time at an event, and she was like, "Sarah, I'm so proud of you for not pressuring into getting married. Don't worry about what nobody says about you." I said, "People say something." That's what I'm saying. That's it's
damn.
So to me, I'm it's not so much my family. It's just the outside, society. I'm wait, what? Who said what? What
that just puts it into your head. Okay,
I'm doing something wrong. But I do want to get married. I want to have kids. All of that. But
for a long time, I thought that I don't want to get married and I never want to have kids. But when I was just on this trip, I had a aha moment, an epiphany. You know what? If I did have my person that I actually loved, I would want to pop out like 2 kids immediately after we got married.
Ooh, what was it? Because that's such a strong like conviction of like, I don't want to have kids and I don't want to be married. Then to just go to the complete 180 opposite of side of the spectrum.
I know I'm going to sound absolutely insane or crazy, but when I was in Spain, I met this guy. He walked into the bar and I looked at him and I'm like,
and that's exactly how she looked.
Literally. I had a conversation with him and I was like, wow, this is the type of man that I would marry and have children with. Like, if this was my man, I would never let another woman look at him.
Was it like love at first sight type of thing? Or what was it?
For me.
Yeah.
Sarah, another one of our close friends.
Have that in you.
And I didn't know that.
Like, someone could make you, like, even if you say you don't, someone can make you want to have that. Like, picture that life with them.
Yeah. And the thing is, I don't know this person. I don't know this guy. I met him one time. We are not talking anymore. But I just now I know. Like, I didn't think I had that in me.
Yeah, I see. It like awakens something.
Wow.
So now I'm like, you know what? Like, I do need to start dating with intention because now I do know that, like, if I had that, as soon as I get married, I am popping out 2 babies.
Whoa.
I can see that
because
the thing is, like, sometimes I think about it, I'm like, wow, like, I want to have my baby, but like, let's say like I don't like the guy. I'm like, I don't want to have your baby. You know what I mean? Like, I want to have my child.
Hard thing
because the thing is, with a divorce, like, let's say you get married, you get a divorce, there's no kids, you could always like go on to your separate path.
Yeah.
If you have a child with someone, you are always interlinked with that human being
and their family.
And that child
their genes are going to be.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I really wanted to be intentional with the person that I like have a child with because I want to have my kid, but like I don't know if I want to. I don't want to have everybody's kid. I want to have my child. And also the thing about like, I remember once it was like a family member. My mom didn't tell me who it was, but she was just like, it was like a wedding time, and basically she's like, okay, I graduated. It was a wedding time, and then also where an auntie was kind of like, ooh, next time it's your turn, Vaida. And I'm like, relax. And then when I graduated college, it was, my mom told me an auntie was just like, oh, now she's ready to get married. And I'm like, Mom, tell me who it is. She wouldn't tell me who it is, but it's okay. But I feel like just from those interactions, I feel like I want to give grace to those family members because I think they are just, because it's a joyous time, you know, like getting married, interconnecting families. It can be a very joyous thing. It's a very celebratory moment. But they don't recognize how hard it is right now in this economy, you know, in this landscape, this dating landscape, how hard it is to find someone that's really meant for you. So I feel like I want to honor that they don't see it as like, they see it as something positive, like an addition, you know, but
I feel that.
See, you don't feel, well, Vaida, you
not on every day to day. I'm pretty, I'm not there yet. I'm not at the pressured age, but
Do you feel like you have any pressure?
I feel like the only pressure I have is biological, because I have to be realistic, right? My mom and my family doesn't pressure me. Yeah. I feel like I've been a mom my whole life, so I think that's fine. I think they're like I'm cool in that aspect.
That's an African
thing.
Yeah.
So, but I don't feel pressured from society. I really don't listen to a lot of the narratives that are painted, especially towards women by society.
Same.
But I do feel biologically because I just turned 30 and we do have to be aware that we are born with all the eggs that we are going to have. And if we do want to have kids, we do want to get married and things like that, we have to be intentional. Yeah. Now, I just know that I have to do the best that I can in terms of leading my life by being intentional, dating intentionally, and not wasting my time to get the things that I want out of life because I don't have as much time as I did when I was in my 20s. Yeah. But outside of that, I'm living life. I love exactly where I'm at. Yeah. So I don't feel pressured at all.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what Vaida said too earlier, I do want to have children, but I'm not willing to have children just to have them. Yeah. Yeah. Because I do think that it's important to have that structure, like have both parents there. So if I don't find like the right person, or God forbid, knock on wood, that I don't get married, or like find my person that I feel comfortable and safe with to like have children for, I would just rather not have children. Though I love children so much, I would rather play that role of like an auntie or a mentor and like y'all's children's lives or something. Yeah. Just because I feel like there's a lot that comes with motherhood. And if you don't have the support, you still can do it. There's so many mothers out there that get it done, but I personally wouldn't want to go on that journey alone. And I wouldn't want to have to explain that to my child like all the time. But then it's like also you can't control what happens in life. Like your partner can pass away, they could leave. Like so also I read this last week. Don't have kids until you are financially able to take care of that child 100% by yourself, even if you do have a husband or a partner, just because anything could happen.
Right.
So I feel like once I get to that place, then I'll be like, okay, cool, let's do it. But I definitely want to get married, definitely want to have kids. Definitely know that the clock is ticking. Not in denial about that.
So you're saying you want to get married before you have kids?
Exactly.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah.
A long way to basically.
Yeah. So you're not gonna like rush a process just to have kids when you're not married.
No.
I think, and I agree with you too in terms of the marriage. And I would say coming from a single parent background, I think that's why I stand so strong on the marriage perspective, because not to say like getting married is the answer, right? And but I think growing up in a 2-parent household with 2 people who choose each other for the rest of their lives first before even thinking about children, I think if that relationship is sound and you then bring children into the world, that children can have a better outlook. I mean, they can have a better upbringing and a better outlook to life. But that's just based off of my experience, right?
100%.
So
you have a better chance.
A better chance, yeah.
I mean,
and it's not always
based
that,
on
but
study.
I think
that's been proven. That's been proven. That's not even, you don't even have to feel bad about that.
And I think I want to like have a community. Like before I have kids, I want to like have like my support system. I want to have a strong community around me, because I feel like it's good to have a mom and a dad, but I feel I want them to have great aunts and uncles and cousins and all of that stuff that's accessible to them. You know, I really am big on that, and just having that for my children as well, because I don't want them to think that it's just mom and dad that they have access to, but they have access to an entire community. So even in friendships, sometimes I think I'm like, wow, like people that I choose to be friends with today can be like my children's aunts and uncles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just really being intentional about the spaces that you are in, because they can have an impact in your child's life. You know, so. I think about that as well. I just want my kids to be like an actual village, you know, of support.
And Sarah, you're really good at just being like, I feel like you don't really feel, you're like, I'm good. Like, I don't feel the pressure. What advice can you give to, so maybe some of our viewers are watching who are kind of like at that age and feeling similar pressures? Like, how do you deal with it? Like, what advice can you give to someone who's like, okay, well, it's beating me down?
I'll tell you guys what my partner told me. Like, I told you guys this in Costa Rica, but how I was talking to, this is a while back, I was talking to my partner about like motherhood and how, you know, when I wanted to have kids and I want to have kids and like, you know, what I want to give birth to like this many kids or blah, blah, blah. And like everything that I attached my motherhood to was to childbirth. And he was like, why do you connect motherhood to childbirth so much? Because he was like, there's so many different ways to be a mother. And we had a conversation about that, and he was just like, I'm not against having children or like you like you birthing a child, but like he's like, you just have like this deep connection to like birthing a child and like this time frame, I got to do this on this time frame. And he's like, there's so many different ways to be a mother. There's and I thought about it. I was like, there is adoption, you know,
there's surrogacy now.
There's surrogacy. There's like, you know, there's so much, like medicine has advanced so much that you don't even have to be a mother right now. You can decide to be a mother later.
You can freeze your eggs.
Yes, you can freeze your eggs. But also like, I think to me, it's just like being a mother, you can make an impact on this world outside of like birthing a child.
Yeah,
you know, like you can adopt a child, or you can even be a stepmother. So it's like there's so many different ways to like attack being a mother or a parent.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be one way.
Right.
But I always thought like, oh
that.
no, I have to do it this way. Like,
or
I
it's
have
over
to.
for me.
Yes,
Yeah,
you know, like
you
I
know.
have to. And I still want to do that. I still want to birth my own children. I still want to have children and like, you know, have kids of my own and like however way I do it. But I think that opened my eyes and it made me comfortable, like, to not rush.
Yeah. I love that. That's such a, like you said earlier, progressive way to think. And I think that does alleviate some of that. Because, girl, it could really be a lot. Like, it could, you know, you can start getting stressed and worried. And, like, it's a thing. And I feel like if that's something that you want sometimes, I feel like wanting creates suffering sometimes because it's
especially
like,
there's nothing you could do about it.
I don't have it. So exactly. So I think I feel like once you're comfortable with the worst possible case scenario, that's what I had to do for myself. I had to be like, what are you afraid of? The worst possible case scenario is never having kids, never getting married, and just doing your own thing, like living your life for yourself. And once I was comfortable with that, like if it came to that, would I still find a way to be happy? I feel like I would. Then it's like whatever happens, like I can breathe. You know?
Yeah.
Of course, I am praying and I know I want to get married and have kids, but if I don't, I will still be okay. And I think that's important to know as well. Like your life's not going to be over.
Shout out to role models like Tracy Ellis Ross.
Oh, yeah.
Because sis, sometimes I look at her life and I'm like, you know what? Maybe Tracy, my girl. Because like you said, if that's the worst case scenario, that's the route I'm going.
You could still live a full life. Friends, family, be a auntie, a mentor for, you know, other people in your life, and
impact the world in different ways.
Have more money, even though money's not everything. It's like, hey, it doesn't hurt.
It depends on what you want in your life, you know, like.
And I feel like you change, like Ebony said, like you could want something today and tomorrow you're like, you know what, I'm actually good, you know. So
yeah, I agree because. Like, you need to find your joy, like, regardless. Like, even me, like, I know I'm only 24, but I've entertained the possibility of, like, what if I don't find my person, you know? What if I don't engage in, like, have, like, a traditional, you know, marriage or stuff like that? Like, will I still be able to be happy? And that's where I go back to that. I feel like as long as I have a strong support system, good community around me, a full life, I think I would be able to do that successfully, no complaints. I think the thing is like people think that a romantic partner is going to solve their issues completely, but I feel like the wrong person could cause more damage than you being single. Like the wrong person could take away your destiny. They can take everything away from you.
That's so true.
So I feel like it's good that women and just people in general are intentional with who they're dating, because the wrong person could sidetrack you, like, you know what I mean? Like, it could really distract you, and you can really just engulf yourself in that relationship, your identity. You don't even know who you are anymore. So I feel like it's a blessing. It could be a blessing in a way, for sure.
And I feel like getting older, the blueprint is not the same like it was like in the 50s. There was this, you know, get married, have kids, live this life. Your husband goes to work. You're at home. We have so many options as women today. And I think that's why I don't put too much energy into what society is saying, because I feel like it's just old, and we need to think about some new, fresh ideas about how we view womanhood and getting older, because I think it's a blessing, one, to be older. It's a blessing to have these options to decide how we want to live our lives, and honor women in those spaces. If women don't want to have children, that's fine. If they don't want to get married, that's fine. If they do, like creating room for everybody and knowing that everyone doesn't have to follow this like outdated blueprint of what womanhood looks like.
That's so true.
I do have a question. Would you guys be open to freezing your eggs if you... I think I would be. Yes. Just because you just never know.
Yeah.
I have an age.
When?
Mine is 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of my friends is 34 and she's in the process of starting it right now. And I think it's a good idea. If you have the money to do it and you haven't had kids by 34, 30, like, because you become high risk at like
no, that's
35.
And that's why I said my only pressure is biological, because when you really look into it, I mean, by God's grace, I'm always hoping that
Ashanti's
organically,
42.
right, it's the way that it'll happen. But yeah, at 33, if I'm not married and I don't have any kids, I'm definitely going to freeze my eggs and store them, because it's not that expensive to do. And then a lot of companies too, depending on what field you work in, that's part of their healthcare package, because a lot of women are working. And I mean,
and
that's a trade-off.
And that's an option.
Yeah.
Like, I think like that this patriarchal society tries to push that, like, once you reach a certain like age or threshold, you hit a wall, like we said in the beginning of this episode. But there is options for us. We have options now.
Outdated.
Yes,
it's
like,
so outdated.
There's medicine, there's all, so they can't use that like, well, you can't have no kids. Yes, I can.
Yes,
yeah, I can.
My eggs are frozen
at
exactly
1, 2, 3.
So what? Yeah, I'm not saying that it's wrong to do it early. If I had a daughter, honestly, I might tell her, you want to do it, probably do it within this time frame. I would probably tell her to be intentional early on so that she can do everything. But if it doesn't work out, I'm not going to push her. Listen to like what like certain narratives that are trying to push, like they're trying to make women feel bad.
Yeah. And I feel like that's why it's up to us as we are getting older to honor those spaces and not be so combative if people, or especially women, aren't going the route that we want to go. We don't agree with the way that they view motherhood or the way that they view how they want to live out their lives. We honor those spaces and say, girl, do you?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, if it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah. And like women should not be villainized for not finding a partner at a certain time or getting married at a certain time. Because one thing, if you have a baby before you get married, you get talked about. You're villainized, you're demonized. And then if you wait too long to get married, you get demonized. If you wait too long to have children, today, like, let women what they have to do to accomplish what they want in life. If they want to have kids, if they find a partner at 35 and they have to do surrogacy or freeze their eggs, let them do that. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know,
and
like
I think like you said, let women. I feel like they don't have to let us do anything. We as women
that's what
have to start having these types of conversations with one another, because I feel like it removes the shame that they're trying to place on us that we don't feel ourselves. And then it opens us up to other options that we haven't considered. Like for me, when Janet says like, oh, my age is 33, that makes me think like, okay, I need to be seriously thinking about that too, because we both getting older. So it's like, it helps us be able to brainstorm options for ourselves to where we're not just sitting in fear all the time, because it's like, okay, I'm preparing for the worst possible case scenario. I might not have to like go that route, but at least I have like a plan in place to where I'm covered on all sides. And I feel like that is how we take back our power. That is how we build community. That is how we like show that our value is not in our age. Our value is not in our youth. Like, I feel like it's a beautiful thing to get older. I feel wiser. I wouldn't want to be my 21-year-old self again, you know? So it's like, are we supposed to die?
Like that is the narrative being put.
Can we end on that? I know you said 24. Right? 30s, I just got here. About a month, like I just got here, but oh my God.
Wow. We have just arrived.
We have just arrived.
Like, are we supposed to die at 30?
I love it here.
Yeah.
This is where it's at.
Yeah. I love that you said our value is not in our age, because that's the narrative that's being pushed.
From a male perspective, they want to procreate, so the younger you are,
but
the
there's
more
so much different ways that we can procreate now. Like, you know, so I don't think that's relevant anymore.
But also in our African communities, what we're talking about right now is so like so foreign to our parents' generation. Older generations, like, what do you mean? Like, what's all this eggs? What's all this? Like, you need to get married so you can have kids, so you can, you need to like, get on it. So I feel like what we're doing right now is educating ourselves, empowering ourselves.
Oh my gosh, and we have to. I wish we would have talked about that, because there's some South Sudanese girls that are young that can't have kids.
Right.
There's something.
Oh, infertility. I feel like that needs its own. Like with people in the healthcare field and everything.
And it has nothing to do with their. It has nothing to do with their age.
Right.
But everything to do with infertility.
Yeah, and your value isn't in like your ability to. Your value as a woman. Isn't in your ability to bear children. You're still a woman, whether or not you're a mother.
Yes. And I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of women in our culture could feel like their value is out the window, because everything is about getting married.
And the community will make you feel like that. Society will, especially African
as soon as you get married, they start asking you, okay, so where's the kids? And
that has ruined marriages, like infertility. So.
It has. Yeah. So we'll probably touch back on that another time. But we want to hear
that was beautiful. I love that. I feel empowered by this conversation.
Me too. Yeah. Me too. And we want to hear how you guys feel about this, especially the women.
No, for sure.
Everybody,
yeah.
but especially the women.
Yeah.
How you guys feel about this? Have you guys struggled with any of the topics that we discussed today? Did we miss anything? Guys?
Let us know. Yeah.
We talked about
friendship.
Yeah.
Struggles to get married, or like the
This
societal pressure.
Really well rounded.
Before we end, I just really want to give a big shout out to Janet. During our trip, she helped me so much. Like, she is such a true friend. Like, I was really going through stuff in my head, like on the trip. None of you guys knew, but I was really going through it. I came outside and I had like a conversation with Janet, and I think about that like every day. Like, what's for you is for you. If it's not for you, it's not for you.
That's so sweet.
I love you, Ed.
Thank you. I love you too. But yes, that part of the trip, and while we're out there, looking at the beautiful view, just made it even better.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Janet, for that.
You're welcome. You're so
Power
welcome.
of female friendship.
I know. That's so sweet.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, I love this episode.
I know, me too.
Yes.
So
You want to
sweet.
close this out, Kristen? I feel like we closed it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. Make sure you drop down in the comments, like, subscribe, and follow us on all our social media handles. Ladies of Sosa on everything. So
Yes. Thank you guys so
Love y'all.
much. Catch you in the next one.
Bye.